Airbnbs are not welcome. They have the risk of losing it all. Banning Airbnb outright, financial ticking time bomb. It's extremely frustrating. What is the government's position on this? We don't really have a solution to this problem. Is there still money to be made as an investor in the real estate market in Vietnam? Investing into Vietnam sounds like paradise, right? Warm weather, booming economy, and a vibrant tourism industry. But before you pack your bags, you better think again. Vietnam's real estate market, especially in the Airbnb arbitrage, is facing serious challenges. And if you're an investor, then the sweet dreams can turn into a nightmare faster than you can think. So today we are peeling back the curtain on Vietnam's crackdown on Airbnbs. Tightening of regulations, the residents are fed up. And the government, well, they're not helping things either. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you see some of the investors' dream become a headache for some, but also we're giving you ways to protect yourself and still to make the investment work. In case for those that don't know me, my name is Ken Duong, international business and real estate attorney with over 15 years of experience helping foreigners and also Vietnamese overseas to buy real estate, manage real estate, invest, and also live here in Vietnam. So you're an investor eyeing the Vietnam tourism market, and you've heard the success stories. Investors making a killing, turning apartments into short-term rentals. But there has been major pushback. Buildings across Ho Chi Minh City, especially in Binh Thanh and District 4, are slamming the door on Airbnb hosts, literally. In fact, some buildings are banning Airbnb outright. Imagine you splurge on a luxury apartment, on furnishings, and getting ready to build income from the apartment. And bam, the building says no more Airbnbs. That means no more guests, no more income. But why? For long-term residents, they are tired of having their home be a revolving door for tourists. Imagine you come home for a long day of work and there are tourists ringing the wrong doorbell, knocking on doors, making noise late at night, and hogging up all your facilities. Fed up with the constant disruptions, residents and the management are fighting back against the short-term rentals. But here is where it really stings. For many investors, they're getting loans in order to buy these properties. They bought these properties with the promise of Airbnb profits, but now they have the risk of losing it all. Can they switch to long-term rentals? It's not as easy as said than done. For many of these Airbnb units, the profit margin is roughly between $200 and $250. And if they have the multiple units, and many of them have between 3 and 5, thus the total profit is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per month. However, with the absolute ban on Airbnbs, their profits and properties are a financial ticking time bomb. So there's one of many examples of this situation. A host that's managing 15 Airbnbs in Binh Thanh and District 4 literally seen her profits evaporate overnight. And this is due to the buildings absolutely banning Airbnbs and short-term rentals in that particular area. And it's not just about money. For many, this is their lifeline. A blanket ban on this will be a financial hit and a derailment from their investment plans. The frustration between Airbnb hosts and long-term residents came to a head in District 4. Picture this, a group of tourists ready to check into their high-end apartment, ready to enter the elevator, and a group of residents angry, blocking your way up. That's right, the long-term residents are fed up with all these tourists. Then a confrontation escalated. On one side, you have the Airbnb managers feeling they have the right to bring in these guests. On the other side, the long-term residents are fed up with all these tourists making their home feel like a hotel. Shouting escalated, and then the police had to come in and assist. And this was no isolated incident. At another project called the Millennium in District 4, the building management posted up signs that ban all short-term rentals. And this was an effective strategy because the Airbnb tourists dropped by 80 to 90% in this project. But the chaos didn't stop there. At another incident at the Millennium as well, an Airbnb guest was caught using stimulants, and thus she was running through the halls, yelling and banging on doors, causing a lot of chaos within the building. So this is a clear sign Airbnbs are not welcome. In Vietnam, the issue with short-term rentals isn't just about the angry neighbors, it's about control. Many of the apartment buildings in Vietnam are over 60% have short-term rentals, in Airbnb or other platforms. Once the owners have the keys, it's very difficult to manage and know what they're doing with their properties. Developers may not have much say once they transfer over the ownership. This causes the management board pressures in order to control the units being used as homes and not as hotels. The short-term rental guests add enormous pressure to the facilities such as pool, gym, and elevators. Imagine buying a high-end apartment with a private gym, but only to see tourists there every single day. These frustrations are creating a wedge between the long-term residents and the Airbnb hosts. So what does the Vietnam law say? The Vietnam Housing Law of 2023 is extremely clear. Residential properties cannot be used for non-residential purposes, including short-term rentals. The Vietnam Housing Law of 2014 also has these provisions as well, but the enforcement of these laws are tightening up. What is the government's position on this? Apartments are for living, not for business purposes. You can't just turn your apartment into a hotel without following the proper channels. This isn't just about Airbnb hosts live streaming, opening a beauty salon, operating an office out of your home. This is all technically violations of the law. Before you open up a business inside your apartment, you better think twice because you might be violating the laws. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the solutions and how you can still make money in real estate in Vietnam, let's get to something important. 80% of you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, only 20% are. You are lurking around, taking in the information, reading them, and also watching them over and over. But all you gotta do to help us out is click on that subscribe button so that we can increase our viewership and have better exposure and make better videos for you. So let's get back to the video and find out the solutions on how you can still make money in this real estate market. All right, so what is the solution? Is there still money to be made as an investor in the real estate market in Vietnam? Yes, there is, but it's definitely not easy. So if you're looking to invest in real estate in Vietnam, here are a few points you need to consider. First, check the rules. Not all apartment buildings ban Airbnb or short-term rentals. But before you sign that contract, make sure you see if the building bans it or they allow for Airbnbs. Number 2, comply with the law. Registering your business with the proper authorities, following all the safety guidelines, and paying your taxes. Based on Article 49.1.A of the Tourism Law of 2017, they provide all the guidelines to operate your business legally. This will protect your business and investments, but also you can use this to get an investor visa, work permit, and a TRC as well. Let's be real, investing into the Vietnamese real estate market is definitely not a walk in the park. There are numerous legal hoops to jump through, and one wrong move can lead to financial disaster. But that's where we come in. Our firm specializes in performing due diligence for foreign investors, advising so you can make the smart and best decisions before signing on the dotted line. We dive deep into the understanding of where foreigners can buy properties, and trust me, it's definitely not easy to fully understand. We research a developer, the seller, and the property itself to make sure there are no nasty issues or surprises. Want to know if your property can be listed on Airbnb? We check the regulations and advise you whether short-term rentals are permitted in that building. Once that is sorted, we don't just stop there. We will assist you in setting up the right business entity, obtaining the proper licenses to operate. We will help you set up the right business entity, tailored to your needs, and also get you the proper licenses to operate legally in Vietnam. And it's not just about owning property, but it's a long-term investment strategy. We also assist you in getting an investor visa, work permit, and temporary residence card as well, so that you can do business and live in Vietnam without a hitch. When we say buying real estate in Vietnam, foreigners are allowed to have a leasehold for 50 years with an option to extend. Moreover, foreigners have normally a 30% foreign quota in each particular project or district. If you want more detailed information, we made a video of a step-by-step guide on how to buy real estate in Vietnam, so you can click on the right-hand corner. So what does the community have to say about this Airbnb chaos? Building managers are proposing that tenants that host Airbnb should pay a higher fee due to the wear and tear of the facilities. And tenants, on the other hand, believe there needs to be stricter oversight or the problem will get worse. Thus, we don't really have a solution to this problem. The Ho Chi Minh Real Estate Association is requesting that the Airbnb hosts step up their game by registering their businesses, paying their taxes, and managing their guests to respect the community. After all, being a good host is taking responsibility for the actions of your guests and its impacts on the neighbors. But here's the real question. Will the government take action, or the Airbnb issue remains in the gray area? Only time will tell. So will Vietnam follow in the footsteps of big cities like New York or Barcelona, where Airbnbs are absolutely banned? It's a very tough call because Vietnam's economy is booming and Airbnb has been a significant factor in helping that. On the other hand, the investors, the residents, and the hosts are frustrated and tensions are very high. So now, before we wrap up, let's address some of the lingering issues regarding Airbnb. There's been some confusion regarding how much risk that the hosts take and also the guests. If the host does not register their property or comply with the local regulations, they'll definitely be in violation. But the guests can also get caught up as well. The enforcement may not be consistent, but when there are violations, the host will be impacted. But as a guest, you also don't want to have your trip turn into a nightmare. It's to note, for the average tourist, you probably don't know if the property is registered or not. However, not knowing the law or not knowing the property is registered can still get you in trouble. The host will for sure, but as a guest, you might get caught up in the legal issues as well. The goal is not to scare people off from using Airbnb. It's understanding the risks and trying to minimize them. If both the host and the guests understand the legal rules, then they will be able to make a stress-free and smooth experience while in Vietnam. So what do you think? Should Vietnam further regulate Airbnbs or allow the free market to work itself out? Please leave your comment below. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and all of our social media as well. So on behalf of Duong Global, my name is Ken Duong. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.